All right, so for the record, everybody can hear me, right? Am I muted? Okay. So for the record, this is a regular meeting of the City Council on WPCA. Today is Monday, May 18th, 2020, and it is 7:03 p.m. So I'm going to jump right into item number 1 on the agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held May 4th, 2020.
So moved, Waldron.
Second, Wagner.
Thank you. Moved by Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Any questions or comments on the motion or the minutes? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're good. All right. On to item number 2, the WPCA sewer use fee. I will entertain a motion by the Board of Councilmen, herein acting as the Waterway Pollution Control Authority, to accept the recommendation of the acting WPCA Administrator and Public Works Director to continue the sewer use fee that was established on June 3rd, 2019 for the year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2021. The sewer use fee established on June 3rd, 2019 are as follows. For the residential users, it will be $274 per dwelling unit, and for all other users, $274 per 65,000 gallons of volume of flow. Do I have a motion?
Waldron, so moved.
Thank you.
Rubino, second.
Thank you. So motion by Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilman Rubino. Questions or comments on the motion? Councilwoman Wagner.
Just wanted to verify the 274. Have we redone the municipal agreements with Harwinton and Litchfield so they're paying?
So I think our
Wagner, no, those draft agreements have been sent to the municipalities. They have not been concluded.
other questions or comments? Paul Cavagnero.
Yes, Mayor. Just to let you know, and the council WPCA to know, I'll be voting against this for reasons that are well known by people who have been in attendance here. I just don't agree on principle that Torrington should not be able to charge non-residential users additional monies to use our facilities. And on that principle, I will vote against this. Thank you.
And for clarification, the non-residential users you're talking about would be the Litchfield and Harwinton users and the MOUs with them?
It would be any non-residential user.
Okay. All right.
Any non-residential, it is long, as you know, and as this council and WPCA knows, it's long been my opinion that Torrington has the right to basically charge a separate set of fees for non-Torrington residents for reasons that have been well discussed in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Cavagnero. Other questions or comments on the motion? Seeing and hearing none. I don't need a roll call vote for this one, do I, Carol? No. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Councilman Cavagnero.
Okay.
Councilman Cavagnero opposes. I'm not muted.
Thank you.
No. Okay.
Yeah, okay, we got you. All right. All right, so the motion passes. Item 3, I'll entertain a motion acting herein as Water Pollution Control Authority to approve the WPCA budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021.
Waldron, so moved.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Wagner, second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on this budget?
Just though I have one, this is Rubino.
Yes.
Question on the projection, Ray. Are you projecting a 300K deficit, or was I looking at that wrong?
For fiscal year 1920, we're projecting, well, a 309,000 year surplus. At the current rate, the revenue versus the expense for 2021 would be the I think it's $23,000 deficit.
Okay, so
then
the
would be
offsets,
by the $309,000 surplus from 1920.
okay, very well. I just wanted that confirmed. Thank you.
Other questions or comments on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I hear 2 ayes. Opposed? So I'm assuming that's 4 ayes.
Ms. Wagner.
Oh. All right, I see. You're muted. And so is Councilman Cavagnero. Just wave to me. Is it an aye? Or a nay?
Cavallero?
There you are. I'm just looking, are you in favor of approving the budget or
Yes, yes, yes,
again? Approved?
yes.
Great, thank you. So that's unanimous. Thank you all. All right, so item number 5. I'll entertain a motion. Again, acting here as a Water Pollution Control Authority to approve the WPCA miscellaneous fee schedule for the year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021.
Point of order, can you use item 4, Mayor? We just did 3, right?
We
So
did
the cap-
3.
We didn't do the capital improvement yet. Correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did skip. I'm sorry, I did skip.
All right.
So no motion was made yet. So item 4, entertain a motion acting as the WPCA to approve the WPCA 5-year capital improvement program for the year beginning July 1, 2020, ending June 30th, 2025.
Waldron, so moved.
Thank you.
Rubino, second.
Right, so motion by Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilman Rubino. Questions or comments on the motion? Seeing and hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? We're unanimous. Thank you. Now, item 5, acting as a Water Pollution Control Authority, approve the WPCA miscellaneous fee schedule for the year 2020 to June 30th, 2021.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Sharon, unmute.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you got a big delay from yours.
Sorry
All right.
about that.
No, that's fine. So seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 6, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of Safer Places consultant Steve Bukowski, Police Chief William Baldwin, Captain Bart Barone, and the purchasing agent to award the contract for the surveillance camera system upgrade at the Police Department headquarters in the amount of $94,544.38 to Mammoth Security, Inc. of New Britain, Connecticut, and authorize the mayor to act on behalf of the city regarding the execution of the contract and its administration pending approval by the Board of Finance.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Second, Wagner.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on this motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by the Small Cities Subcommittee.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. Do we have a second?
Rubino, second.
Thank you, Councilman Rubino. Is there anything the Small Cities wishes to present?
Yes, the Small Cities Committee met earlier today at 4:30, and we just had one project to approve. I don't have the number in front of me at the moment, but it involved the house needing a roofing job. Was worth the assessment was market value $133,000. Had liens of $16,000, and the total project's going to cost $10,500. So there's plenty of equity to cover it. So I would recommend that the council approve it.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. This is a sub-motion. Do I have a second to your sub-motion?
Second, Wagner.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner. Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Hi, Ann.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. So item 8. You have to forgive me, I have to switch to my computer now. So item 8, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the cooperation agreement between the City of Torrington and Supportive Housing Works regarding the implementation of the Connecticut Small Cities Community Development Block Grant CDBG program as approved by the Department of Housing. Do you have a motion?
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. Do I have a second?
Second, Wagner.
Hey, Don Pauling.
You laughing at me?
Yes, your times there. So motion made by Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries. Item 9, I will entertain a motion to adopt the 4-factor analysis and language access plan for limited English proficiency persons in accordance with Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 as it pertains to the small city CDBG program.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Ruwet, second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruwet. And are there questions on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving into item 10, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of the Economic Development Director and Purchasing Agent and award the contract for an on-call economic development planning consultant services to assist with the creation and implementation of the city's economic gardening strategy for the next 3 years. This would go to Good Earth Advisors LLC of Avon at a standard hourly rate of $95 per hour, not to exceed $250 for attendance at regularly scheduled EDC meetings. Do you have a motion?
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. Do I have a second?
Rubino, second.
Thank you, Councilman Rubino. And I know RISTA MALANCA is on with us. If there are questions that you need her to answer, or a little background, I will tell you that that these services will be paid for out of the Building Healthy Communities grant that was awarded to the city early in the winter back in December. So this will not be coming out of our general fund, but in fact is a grant funded position. Rista, was there anything you wanted to?
Yeah, I did have a memo, but I'll report a part of it. As part of the Building Healthier Communities grant, a big part of that was to develop our economic development strategy. And in light of COVID-19 and everything that's going on, even more urgent that we get this economic gardening strategy up and running. So in order to do this in a timely manner and efficient manner, we're looking to bring on this on-call economic planning consultant. The consultant that has been chosen, we worked very closely with her in the past. She's very familiar with Torrington. She knows some of the businesses. She knows some of our needs already, so there won't be a lot of lag time there. She can get up and running quickly. And then this is really just beyond even just the COVID-19 response, but for the full economic recovery and economic gardening strategy through the Building Healthier Communities grant.
Thank you, Rista. And I'll just add, for anybody who isn't familiar with the economic gardening strategy, that is a strategy where you are investing in your local businesses, those businesses that are already here. You know, they may be small, there may be, 5 or 10 or 20 employees, but it's a way for us to invest in those businesses and help to grow them, double their workforce, triple their workforce, as opposed to, going out and recruiting businesses and competing with 168 other municipalities in the state, or 50 states across the nation. So this is a strategy that we've been talking about for the last 2 years. I've been talking about for the last 6 years. And boy, if ever there was a time that demonstrated this was the right thing to do, it is now. I will share with you that I received a most letter this morning from one of our manufacturers that just notified me, as he's required to do by law, that they're laying off 129 people. This was one of our manufacturers, which I kind of felt were a little sheltered from this COVID response, but clearly our manufacturers were not. So, so this is something that I think is critical for us to move forward with, and I hope the council will agree and see fit to approve this. Questions?
Question. Good thing.
No
Good
question?
thing out of this.
All right, if there are no questions, I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries. Thank you. All right, so the next 3 agenda items are all related to the THS building project. I'm looking to table these 3 agenda items. The Board of Education is prepared to do a presentation, but on Friday, when I'm speaking with Ed Aram, we realized that part of this discussion includes what would the financial impact be, and it would require the boards to agree to establish a referendum date prior to their being able to file a grant by June 30th. So I did reach out immediately for legal advice from our bond counsel and financial analysis from our financial advisor. You're all familiar with Bill Lindsley and Sandra Dawson. They've both been before both of these boards in the past. The last time we went out for bonding, and they both have agreed that they will participate in a meeting so that questions you may have regarding this proposal can be answered with a fair level of efficiency and expertise. So I would need a motion to table.
So moved. Waldron.
Can I ask a question?
You may. This will probably be the time before I get a second and call that table.
Yeah. I wanted to just verify, I know that we have to table this. And I can understand why. Is there any way, especially in light of what Paul said before, of having an exploratory committee invoked at the same time? So we're looking at the effects of COVID and the effect on learning in the future. I mean, I know there's committee after committee, so I don't want to be redundant, but there could be some way that we could have some exploratory discussion going on that somebody could bring to a table later.
Had a hard time hearing her, but
The Atari computer is not helping, Sharon.
yeah, I had a hard time hearing her.
So
Question.
I'll, if I may, just reiterate what she was saying is her question, it's more of a question, was much to Councilman Cavagnero's comments earlier in the joint meeting with the Board of Finance. She's wondering if it is possible for us to establish an exploratory committee that would explore all of the impact and the future potential for distance learning. I don't even want to venture to try to answer that question other than to say that right now the sense of urgency that the Board of Education has is that the June 30th date is looming, that this application for the grant will require that the council and Board of Finance agree to establish a referendum date so that it would go out to the public for referendum. and the establishment of a building committee and approval of filing that grant application. We are now talking 6 weeks, not even, it's 5 weeks to June 30th. I share everybody's concern, that it's a quick timeline and not enough opportunity for us to have face-to-face dialogue on this. But I wanted to assure the council that on Thursday, what we will bring forward and what the Board of Education is bringing forward is all of the work that they've done, their proposal, and on behalf of the city representation on the financial impact and legal process. Because my other concern with all of this, and I'm not sure that I've received an answer yet, is under the circumstances, we cannot have a public hearing. This does require, to set a referendum date, does require a public hearing. So I'm trying to work through all of that. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. And if we could just table this and allow the Board of Education to make its presentation to the council, and then the council and Board of Finance can ask those questions back.
Yeah. So I second the motion to table, but we're looking at a date for Thursday, correct?
That is correct. And I'm looking for an earlier time. I'm looking to start this at perhaps 5, if that's a possibility, or 5:30.
Well, I'll give my answer yes, that I'm available, so I don't have to email or Carol but I do think, we can have more discussion at that time. But, this has been a project that, we all received information in terms of the history of it. I mean, one more exploratory committee, I think, would really divide the relationship with the Board of Ed and the City Council and the Board of Finance. It's worthy enough to have a larger discussion because of all of the years of work for this project.
So I'm sorry, I'm paying attention now. So Councilman Cavagnero, your hand is up.
Yes. Just again, to reiterate what I said during the Board of Finance meeting, I just think it is, regardless of how much work has been put in, and I appreciate and respect that. I see the packets. I know there's been an awful lot of work. But that shouldn't be driving our decision. We asked to be elected, and we got elected to represent the best interests of the city of Torrington and its children, okay? And this experience with COVID and quarantine has changed the game fundamentally. And I think that for this council and the Board of Education, and ultimately, I suppose, Board of Finance, to be chasing a grant of this magnitude simply because there's been an awful lot of work done in the past is completely the wrong way of looking at this. I believe the right way of looking at this, and I continue to believe this, is to assign to the administration the work that belongs to the administration, which is to put together a long-term analysis of what the future of education for secondary schools is going to look like. That being done with hired professionals, consultants, and not the same old consultants who are going to tweak the system. We are beyond tweaking. This is an opportunity for Torrington to take a leadership role in the county to redefine what education will look like going forward. And in so doing, I truly believe we can find substantial cost savings that are also tied to substantial improvements in the delivery of education at multiple levels, multiple competencies, at scale. But it's going to take an awful lot of hard work, not a bunch of bullet points that some third-party educational consultants who have been doing this work for 25 years have put together into a colorful packets for us. We need to get better than that. We need to be better than that. And that means stop chasing the grant. If we get a curriculum that is truly progressive, forward-thinking, scalable, okay, that combines remote learning and associated savings in so many hard facility functions like busing, like food presentation, like the size of the building itself, then whatever we need to do to build the building, whatever grants are available, if it costs us a little more, it is money extremely well spent. We're not talking about just building a shell for an educational program that is going to just continue to be a second-rate educational opportunity. It is not going to attract families. It is not going to attract kids. It is not going to retain kids. We have to rethink this. This is the time to do it. Get the curriculum, hire consultants, smart consultants from smart districts, whether it's in Boston or San Francisco, where they're already down the road thinking about what this really means, and hire them to give us the kind of guidance we need to take the ball and run with it. Then we'll build the damn building. We'll get the money. We will get the money. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just
Thank you.
commenting on the motion to table. Sorry. I mean, I wasn't commenting on the project because I thought we would have that opportunity on Thursday.
Yes, you will. So I only have a motion. I didn't have a second. I think that the a couple council members wanted to make sure that they had their opportunity to speak to the motion, because once I get that, there's no more conversation. We just take the vote. So I'm calling.
I think I seconded it, Mayor.
You have a second? Okay, good. So
Yeah.
always please help me. Your name and your motion. So if it's your name, and so that I can catch these, because I'm monitoring check stuff like that. So I have a motion made by Councilman Waldron. I have a second by Councilwoman Ruwet. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any? Okay, good. We're good. Thank you all. So that was, just for the record, 11, 12, and 13 that we tabled. Item 14, I'll entertain a motion to accept Corporation Council's recommendation and authorize the mayor pursuant to CGS 12-179 to release the liens described in Attorney Michelle's memo dated May 18th, 2020.
Ruwet, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruwet.
Rubino, second.
Thank you, Councilman Rubino. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of the tax collector and authorize the 3 tax refunds indicated and list dated May 18th, 2020.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Ruwet, second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruwet. Any questions on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? We're good. Item 16, I'll entertain a motion acting as a Board of Council, acting as a Water Pollution Control Authority to accept the recommendation of the tax collector and authorize 3 sewer user refunds indicated on the list dated May 18th, 2020.
Ruwet, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruwet.
Waldron, second.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, I'll entertain a motion to approve the building department's report for March 2020.
Waldron, move it.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron. Do you have a second?
Rubino, second.
Thank you, Councilman Rubino. Any questions on this motion or comments on the report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by department heads.
So moved, Waldron.
Rubino,
I heard Councilman Waldron. Do I, a second by Councilman
Rubino,
Rubino?
second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And any opposed? Let's see. So I'm going to start with Public Works Director Ray Drew. Do you have anything to add this evening? Oh, he's gone. So let me add, hello, City Clerk's Office, Carol Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't often have anything to say, but tonight I have 2 bits of news. We have 2 technology improvements in our office. The first is that our tax and sewer liens were handled electronically this year for the first time. The tax collector's vendor dealt directly with our vendor. And if you'll forgive the pun, over 1,500 liens were recorded in record time. Our second bit of news is our records management vendor is going to provide online dog licensing at no cost to the city. They're going to charge the end user $1.75, and so they'll make their profit at that end. So we're excited about that option, especially during the pandemic. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I see that our interim WPCA director, Ed Towsey, is on. Do you have, he's muted. Do you have anything to add tonight, Mr. Towsey?
Oh, just thank you for your votes and appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate the work you're doing down there.
Thank you, Ed.
A great project.
Yeah, we're busy down here, sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then RISTA, are you still on? I can't find you in my list of.
I'm still here.
Okay, good. Do you want to just give an update on what we've been doing to work with our businesses on reopening plans?
Sure. So there's a lot of things that are still going on. We still have a lot of projects that are still going on and a lot of grants. We have 8 active grants and projects that are moving forward, which is pretty exciting news. And a lot of them, especially our building healthier communities, as you heard earlier, is tying right into our recovery plan and working with businesses and making sure that they have what they need to survive. We have been working very closely with the Chamber of Commerce and also with the COG to make sure that our messaging is the same and that, you know, they hear from some businesses, I hear from some, so that we're trying to make sure we are sharing information and really providing what these businesses need. When we look at our strategy and our recovery plan, we're not looking at what is going to help businesses, not looking only at what is going to help businesses survive this pandemic, but we want to look further and find out what is going to help our business thrive. What are programs and things that we can put in place that help them survive now, but that can be implemented and used in the future, and to really have a stronger business community when we're done with this pandemic, and really that these efforts are put towards making us that much stronger and building collaborations that wouldn't normally be there or haven't typically been there. Some of the things that are critical parts of this recovery plan is as we communicate with the different businesses, we're learning that there's very unique needs by business sector. What our electricians and plumbers need is very different than what our hairstylists and salons need, and very different again from what our manufacturers need. So we want to develop, you know, the steering committee to identify what are our unmet needs in the community, but to drill down even further and develop small work groups for these individual business sectors to start to build collaborations, to identify what those needs are, and also to identify what resources are already existing that can help these businesses and what resources they need to be better. You know, one example when we talk about collaborations, I'm just going to use restaurants and throw it out there as an example. But, you know, if takeout is going to be a little bit longer than, you know, at May 20th, I think takeout is still going to be strong. I think it's going to be strong for a long time. Can they collaborate and buy bigger bulk to-go containers, plastic forks and plastic knives, and save money in the long run, so they're not individually buying the to-go containers for themselves? Are there ways that we can help them cut their cost and be stronger? So that's what the idea of these small work groups are going to be. You know, and as you, I'm sure know, the information coming from the state is coming in short notice, it's coming quick, and it's changing rapidly. So what we're trying to do is keep the information current by keeping our website updated, and also by having teletown hall meetings that are business sector specific. So you can come on, spend 45 minutes and learn what you need to know about your business, and not hear questions that don't pertain to you. We had our first 2 teletown hall meetings last Friday for restaurants and salons in anticipation of their reopening this Wednesday. Today we found out hair and nail salons are not going to be able to reopen. And our businesses, a lot of them, some of them I'm sure are happy because there were some hair salons that didn't want to reopen, but for the most part, or didn't want to reopen right away, but for the most part, you know, we need to help them because they've made investment in PPE and stuff to reopen, and now they're struggling a little bit. I just want to check my notes here. And the other piece is just making sure that we have our business contact information. So we've been working at identifying the, you know, making sure we don't miss any businesses. What's their email addresses? We have a lot of them, but making sure we have all of them. Our Economic Development Commission is helping me with that. And we're just making sure that we have good communication with the businesses at this point.
Thank you. I know, is that your dog? So RISTA's been working on this memo to send to the council, and I think what we'll do is we'll have her forward that to you after the meeting so that we can have this as a regular update to the council at every one of our meetings going forward. When RISTA talks about the earlier agenda item where we are now establishing this strategy for developing economic gardening, some of the things you heard are identify helping these like-minded industry sectors identify what their needs are, what their unmet needs are. Things like making sure that when the state is sending an all call out through CBIA, that's the Connecticut Business
An industry association.
yes. So, you know, when they send an all call out for businesses to register for face masks and thermal thermometers, the infrared thermometers, we want to make sure that we have direct contact with every single business person so that as soon as that hits our desktop, it is fired off to every single one of those businesses, because those resources go so fast that our businesses here in the northwest corner get locked out too soon. So that was the first thing, is building that database of who are those businesses, what is the direct contact, so that we can establish this ongoing communication, this ongoing dialogue with them. The other things that we recognize also is that there are businesses right here in the city of Torrington that have pivoted from what they might customarily be producing, that are now providing some of those necessary resources like PPE, that we can now connect business to business to provide some of those resources that everybody else is trying to buy on Amazon. So this has been yeoman's work for us. And I can't say enough how grateful I am that RISTA has taken the lead on all of this, working with Chief Towie, with Torrington Area Health District, and our Fire Marshal's office, the building office, and our land use office really has cemented this team. And I think that the businesses are, tremendously grateful. And the chamber, I can't forget the chamber enough, because they've been through this from the word go. So
I just mentioned just one more thing too.
Yeah.
With the restaurants reopening, and I just want to, our land use office, I've been working closely with Marty Connor, and they've really been great to shift and help our restaurants, especially with the outdoor dining only. Recognizing that they're not going to need their full parking lots because they can't, fill to capacity, to work with them to, convert some of those parking areas to outdoor dining, and doing it in a manner that really is quick and easy, but still making sure there's safety aspects that are being checked. So we're really, in addition to everything else we're doing, we're looking at our own regulations and policies at City Hall to make sure that they meet the needs right now. They're not permanent changes. We're looking at what's temporary in light of the current situation. So that's, been another big thing, looking at, what are our policies and what ones need to be changed so that our businesses can meet the executive orders and reopen.
Thank you, Rista. Are there questions for Rista? All right. I know the Chief Tally is also on the line. He says he doesn't have anything to report, but if any of you have questions for him, I do believe he is on the phone. All right. Am I missing any other department heads? Oh, Dan Farley. I see Dan is on. Dan, did you want to bring anybody up on anything? Dan Farley, you're muted.
Yep, I got muted. There we go. So I just, Mayor, I don't have anything to really update, but I'd just like to let everyone know how fortunate the city of Torrington is to have Alice Prue in her position for all the work that she's doing for us for this budgeting, the work with FEMA, and all the other things that she does. She really puts her heart into it and really dedicates herself to that. And we're very fortunate to have her.
Yeah, I think she chose not to be on video because of the dark circles under her eyes.
Oh, yeah, and she'll kill me for saying what I said, but it's.
Oh, exactly,
true.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. All right, so if there are no other department heads, I'm going to move into the next agenda item. I'll entertain a motion to consider business by the mayor and members.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Cavagnero, second.
Thank you, Councilman Cavagnero. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so I'm just gonna close my eyes and think of where everybody's sitting on the table. So Councilman Waldron, anything to add this evening?
Only thing, when's our next meeting? Next Zoom meeting? Thursday, did I hear?
Thursday at 5 o'clock I'm going for. I'm shooting for 5 o'clock Thursday.
And which one's that gonna be?
So that will be a joint meeting with the Board of Finance for the purposes of hearing the Board of Education proposal for school construction. And, I'm sorry, and to receive legal advice and financial advice from the city's bond counsel and bond advisor.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wagner.
Yes, first of all, high praise to all of the officials, yourself and RISTA especially, for all that you have done to coordinate our actions toward with COVID in town. I think that I just have to say, I'm really pleased that we moved to Torrington because we are so impressed with everybody coming together as a team to work for the benefit of the community. I have been honored to help with mass distribution and food drives past week or two, and the coordination by the Board of Education, the Fire Department, Police Department is commendable. So thank you to everyone for all that you are doing for our community.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Rubino.
The only thing I did we miss a picture up here? I mean, was it done Saturday? Or are we doing it next Saturday? I didn't know where we were going.
Yeah, I'm terribly embarrassed about that. Yeah, so it was yesterday or this past Saturday. We were filming.
Okay.
City clerk was doing the honor bell ring with the naming or the reading of the deceased veterans. However, we haven't lost an opportunity. I know it's hard to get everyone together to do a group shot. So I think if we pivot a little and if everybody can just take an individual shot of themselves with a message for our veterans or their families. I know that I myself, Corporation Counsel, did a shot this morning and just submit it as part of the virtual parade.
Okay.
It's nothing fancy. I think it's just an opportunity for everybody to get in, especially for those newer elected council members. Everybody is used to the old council members' faces. We'd like to get our new ones to get a little face time.
Okay. So that leaves me out. All right. I'm fine. Nothing, Mayor.
Yeah, I'll come up and take your picture if you need me to.
Right.
All right.
Take a selfie
Yeah, exactly. Take a selfie. Come on, with a nice message.
with a heart.
Yeah, I have a lawn full of them you could borrow. Councilwoman Ruwet.
So even though I came late in the game, I know David didn't even get on. So,
No, I know.
you know, I don't know. I think I logged off completely and I don't know. I was happy to join you when I did. Not that I haven't been on enough Zoom meetings, but I do want to also comment, you know, we really somehow need to be more assertive either through CCM or CBIA with the Reopen Advisory Group. You know, with the governor's change in directives, it is embarrassing, you know, it is wrong. 2 days before businesses are to open, you know, and I don't know what he's thinking about, because, you know, the preparation that those who chose to open on May 20th and those who chose to delay it, that's an individual business choice. So I'm ranting a little bit because I'm just, it's so wrong, and it's really begins to distrust government. And I'm also going to rant a little bit. I thought there were three parts of our government with judicial, executive, and legislature, and there is not even any legislative involvement on that advisory group. So it is, I feel terrible for our local legislators that, you know, have an opinion and want to give some directives or advice on where their constituents are and are unable to do that. So I'm so disappointed. I've been holding it in for, you know, I'm a contractor with the state, so I have to be careful, but we have been on this roller coaster for 2 months with the contracts that we have. One day it's one thing, the next day it's something else. So to have our business community, our local business community experience this is deplorable. So, but locally, what we're doing, and RISTA, thank you for being there. I heard this self-certifying webinar went very well from a few people I knew that were on it, and informative. And, you know, I think we are ahead of the game, and I think that's where we have to keep, you know, so when they say the best place to be is local with information, it's sad to see our state is really just, you know, taking too many twists and turns in their, I don't know that a governor has ever given this many directives. And I know this is a different time, but, you know, this is a little ridiculous. And now I'm done ranting. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what business decision you're talking about, because at 4 o'clock when I saw that cross my desktop, I was a little, more than a little annoyed myself. Councilman Cavagnero, you have the floor.
No, just at that point, to Councilwoman Ruwet's point, something I've said in the past, people often forget about the fact that over our generation, when we lost manufacturing, we didn't just lose jobs. What we lost was an entire class of businessmen and women who knew how to get things done. And that has impacted the state in many, many ways, more than the absolute number of jobs we lost. And with that, I would just like to make one recommendation. If anybody hasn't seen it and would like to laugh about Zoom meetings, Saturday Night Live did something with Kenan Thompson where he plays a minister trying to conduct a service. Find it on YouTube, and you'll enjoy these meetings a little bit more. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'm just grateful that all my council members and Board of Finance members don't make the same faux pas as, I think it was in Wethersfield. There was a Board of Finance member that forgot to mute himself. I think he's no longer a Board of Finance member. Councilman Oliver was on our list, but he unfortunately has been struggling to get into this meeting for the past 2 hours. I think that, yeah. So Thursday, it's so important for us all to participate in this meeting Thursday. This is a very important discussion. So kindly try to get on there. Try signing on 15 minutes early. I think also when we schedule these meetings on the hour, I think the platform might get a little overloaded. So I myself try to sign on maybe 15 minutes early just so that we don't lose important people or not get a quorum. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Waldron.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Second, Wagner.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thursday.